Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. So, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. In the past, I've done setup podcasts and they weren't very consistent. I think in around 2017, I made one. There might have been about 10 episodes. Um, but over the years, one of the things that's inspired me to do the podcast is a lot of them to me just feel the same. You know, either I kind of put them in two camps. This is a broad generalization. I get that. But there's either the people that are a successful business person. So the people that I'm thinking of would be like Andy Frisella or an Ed Milet, um, the guy that sold Quest. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Tom Bilyeu. But there's people like that. People that operated a company before the internet and social media were a thing, and as that grew, they kind of rode along with it, so to speak. Like they were already somewhat established in a business sense. And I'm not knocking these people; they're people that I definitely look up to, as I'm sure you do as well. And at certain points, as we're going through the journey, or as I was going through the journey, it can be rather frustrating because there's things that they discuss or that just it's hard to relate in some instances. You know, I'm not at $100 million in revenue, or I'm not where they're at, and so it kind of became hard to relate. And then there's other podcasts that were just, the classic interview show where they bring on a guest, and it's just I'm not knocking people either. They were just hard to relate to. They bring on a guest, they ask them a bunch of generic questions that everybody's asked, and they're mainly using their guest audience or their guest name to build the show. And definitely that's an approach. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's not what I wanted to do, and it's something that I want to do differently. And I've done shows in the past. I've done social media crap in the past. And I've deleted accounts, but it was more out of ego and trying to prove something or appear to be something that I wasn't. I think that happens to a lot of people on the internet and a lot of the fake guru people out there. But with this show, what I wanted to do was really document the journey as best I could, and bring guests on and ask them very tangible questions about things that I personally am going through in business. And they might be a little bit ambiguous because I can't speak directly. Obviously, there's legal things that you can't just say on the internet. And so, right now, going through a transition with something, again, I can't say it just yet. But I feel that over the last 4 years, I've figured out a path of how to successfully navigate a career after leaving college. I guess that's my overall biggest knock with the whole social media people is everybody says like college is stupid, you don't need college is dumb. And trust me, I'm in that camp. I think there's definitely a lot of things wrong with college. I'll definitely get into it. And beyond just the politics crap, I just think colleges are too easy, to put it bluntly. It's not meant to be for everybody, and it has been made to be for everybody with curves and the curriculum and just a bunch of junk. And that's a whole other topic that we'll get into later. But the one thing that really started frustrating me was all these entrepreneur people like, yo, F school and you don't need school and school's stupid. If you go to school, you're just a robot and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, maybe for some people, but that's not always true. And I couldn't really find a whole lot of people that, went to college, whether they got a associate's degree or bachelor's degree or master's or PhD, doesn't really much matter. But they went to college for a period of time. They didn't drop out. They got a degree of some form, a real degree, not something that has no substantial value in the real world, like a lot of the degrees nowadays. And have built something or in the process of building something. It can be very hard to relate to a lot of people on the internet because, everyone always says college is stupid, which there's definitely, like we said, there's definitely problems with it. And so that's kind of what I wanted the show to be about. The main ideas was one, how to navigate early on in your career, the steps that I did verbatim, the mistakes that I made, exactly what they were, and then bring people on that are either in similar spots to where we are and kind of talk through some of the issues that we've had or some of the lessons we've learned, or bring people on that are further ahead, but ask them more tangible questions. Like, for example, navigating the first time you fired an employee. navigating the first time somebody came to you for promotion. Like you just became a CEO or you started a business, you had your first employee, so to speak, and then they came to you and asked for promotion. How did you navigate that? Or determining what did you do to evaluate if you had the right people in the right seats, or evaluate if this person was the right fit for the organization, or how did you handle a cancer, or if you took over a company, how did you handle that transition, coming in, all those kinds of things, versus just like, what'd you spend your first $1 million on, or just stuff like that, or things that just don't provide a lot of value to the audience. I mean, they sound good, they're very flashy for the internet, and because we're not going to really do a whole lot of the flashy stuff in these shows, maybe the audience doesn't become massive, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather have something of substance that provides real value and changes people's life, because there's been people in my life that have given me real value, and it's not always been the flashy stuff, but it's given real value and it's provided real results, and that's kind of the goal with the show. So this is just the first introduction episode. I just felt called or inspired, something was saying, to just record this right now, because this has been something probably been on the mind for a couple months. And one of the big things holding it back is mainly just the idea of talking in front of a camera and putting stuff out on social media. It's that times can be scary because a lot of people don't understand it, and a lot of people that knew you or have known you will say things, and that's not always fun to get those comments. So, but I feel like something needs to be done. Something was calling me to do it. So I wanted to at least sit down and record episode 0, which is the introduction, kind of outlining the show, just from the heart, no prepared agenda, just what comes to my mind. And we'll start to, get into more core episodes later and see how the show evolves from there. But I want to thank you guys for listening, and look forward to catching you guys in the next episode.